everyone. Today we are going to take a look at a Galactic deck. The last walkthrough I'm going to do for this year 2021, since today is the last day of the year. Now this is not a new deck, it's an older deck. It's been out since 2013, so it's been out for about 8 years. It's one that I purchased about a year or so ago, but I never used it, and it's one of those complicated ones. And right off the bat, I'm going to say it's not for everyone, obviously, because not everyone's into Galactic stuff. But if you are into, Galactic heritage cards, so basically it's in the name. It's basically trying to figure out your Galactic heritage, which star system or civilization, as they call it in the guidebook. The first and only of its kind. It's by Lyssa, I think it's Lyssa Royal-Holt, and the illustration is by David Cow. And she actually channeled the messages on these cards. Alright, so it's in a hard case box, square box. It is magnetic. Look, that's beautiful. Magnetic, opens on the side. There's the top. The back, there's a picture of Lyssa. Bottom. Alright, so let's open it up, and there's the guidebook on top, square little guidebook, and the cards are underneath. And like I said, this system is complicated. It's different now. The cards are in 2 piles, so this pile and then this pile, and it's just cardboard inside. And it's, did I say who it's published by? I don't think so. It's published by Light Technology Publishing. Alright, so I'm going to try my best to explain this because it's very interesting, actually, and I did read the guidebook a little bit. So this deck is broken down into 4 suits. The 4 suits is a little different than tarot suits. The 4 suits are timeline, the timeline stream, past, present, and future. So we're going to see that as we go through, and I'll point it out as well to see how this says present. So basically, let me show you the back of the cards first of all. Here's the back. Alright, and this is laminated, so it feels plasticky, and it's on the thinner side. And cardstock is short, so comparing it to a traditional plaid back, it's a little shorter, but the width is about the same. Alright, so it's nice for little petite hands. Alright, so so basically it's just right here, species. So on each card there's the species of the star system, like Pleiades, Orion, Lyra, and then the stream. So 4 suits, past, present, future, parallel. They do not imply time in a rigid way, but refer to era of evolution from which the energy of each card is derived, and then the theme of each card. Alright, so let's go through and take a look at them, and then we'll take a look at the guidebook at the end for those who are still interested, and hopefully I can explain it a little further. But it is kind of complex when you first look at it. That's probably why I didn't really work with it yet, because I kind of bought it, left it on the table and shelf, and didn't really follow through. Alright, so the first card is Beyond Wisdom, card number 1, and they are all numbered. And then this is the category Founders. So anything that's parallel, it means they don't have past, present, and future, which means that they are not in the timeline. There's no physical civilization. So they only have 4 cards, and the suit is parallel, like this, parallel. No past, present, and future, because parallel exists all at the same time, outside of time. They don't express themselves in a timeline. All right, so starting out, we have the founders, and they're considered parallel. So there's only going to be 4. Pulse of life, galactic core, so that's also parallel timeline, or parallel, so there is no past, present, future. Andromeda, same thing, parallel. Keyword is change. Confusion, Andromeda, parallel. And then 5 is also Andromeda, parallel. So the ones that parallel, there's going to be 4 cards. So this civilization is Andromeda, parallel. Okay, so now we move to the next civilization, which is Arcturus. And Arcturus is also one that is parallel because it's outside of the timeline. Keywords: unconditional love, cosmic midwifery, Arcturus also parallel. Balance, Arcturus parallel. Energy transmission, Arcturus parallel. So if they're parallel, they only have 4 cards because there's no past, present, and future. So next we move to Lyra. Now as you can see, keywords: pioneer spirit. Lyra does exists in the physical, as a physical civilization, so there is a past, present, and future. So these are the past for Lyra. Masculine principle, and this is describing the journey of the soul back from being fragmented back to unity. So you can see the name, the soul is being fragmented out, trying to go back into unity consciousness. Birth and expansion, Lyra, past. Seas of Polarity, so this is all the past cards from the Lyra civilization. Courageousness, Lyra. Okay, so now we move past, because remember each civilization have 4 suits: past, present, and future, unless they're not part of the physical civilization, to which they don't have a timeline, so no past, present, and future. They have parallel. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, like in the first example. So now we're looking at the Lyra civilization, present. Courageousness, protectiveness, still under Lyra, present. Pushing the envelope, Lyra, present. Arrogance, Lyra, present. So these are the different lessons that we learn, whether in the past timeline, the present timeline, or a future timeline. Okay, so now we are looking at the Vega civilization, past civilization. So feminine principle, power of sound, self-sacrifice, and homesickness. Okay, so some of you that resonate may feel like you don't belong here, you miss it, you want to go home, as a lot of people often say. Okay, spiritual technology, Vega present timeline, self-discipline, Vega present, alone time, logic and reason. And so now we move on to non-humanoid, which is parallel. So they don't exist in a physical timeline, so they're parallel. Okay, so alienness, primal fear, reptilian, parallel, hive mind, insectoid, parallel, survival fears, zeta reticuli. So this survival fears, so I guess they are in the timeline. With past, rejecting emotion, past. So this is the zeta reticuli. I wonder if that's a civilization, or, well, we know they have a physical civilization if they have timeline. So linear thinking is still past. This desperation, past. Okay, so now we move to the solar system. So they are on parallel, so no timeline. Solar consciousness, deep polarity. So now we're moving to the Orion civilization, and we're looking at their past. Delusion of Control. And these are lessons. The ones that have timeline, it may, it's talking about a specific era of civilization or evolution. So what they may have learned during a specific era of their evolution. Delusion of Control, Orion. Still looking at Orion Pass. Single-minded focus. Black lead patterning. And now we're moving on to the Pleiades, which is a very common, popular one that most people have heard of. Imbalance and positive polarity. So we're looking at Pleiades past timeline. Stubbornness. Guilt. Blind enthusiasm. And now we're moving to the Sirius civilization. Saving humanity. Alright, if you resonate with this, many starseeds may resonate with this. This is probably why you're here at this time on this planet Earth. Secrecy. Long-term goals. Good intentions. And now moving to Earth. Alright, we're looking at Earth past timeline, Lemurian era, Atlantean era. Oh, very interesting. Earth past. Missing link. Okay, still looking at the Earth past timeline. Abandonment. Alright, so these are things that we may have learned through Earth evolution. And now we're looking at Earth present, conservative attachments, progressive desires, belief systems, new consciousness. Next, we're looking at the Orion present timeline. Excuse me. Fusion and magic. Healing, crisis, and purging. So basically, when you're doing reading with these cards, it's helping you figure out your cosmic heritage, like the description, of the cards. So not only trying to figure out your galactic heritage, but maybe where you are in the timeline or where you need to work on. So it's very interesting. It goes pretty deep. And she was saying there's layers as you work with the cards, and you work with them intuitively. All right. So, and she, even the author herself said it's kind of difficult to teach. So I'm giving you the basic, but if you're still confused, no worries. She said it takes time to learn intuitively. If you're drawn to this, I thought it'll be interesting to share and do a walkthrough, because there's not too many online on this, in case anyone is interested. So healing, crisis, and purging. So we're still looking at the Orion present timeline. Leap of faith. Seduction and addiction. All right, so this is Orion present timeline. So these are things that we may have be experiencing or going through, depending where you are and what galactic heritage you are and which timeline you are in. Unfinished business. So now we move to the Sirius civilization. Sirius present, so unfinished business. Coming full circle. Creative communication. Embracing transition. So now we're to the Pleiades civilization. So as you can see, each civilization, there's cards, there's 4 suits. So past, present. Each civilization has 3 suits: past, present, and future. The civilization that is not on a physical timeline, meaning they didn't have a physical civilization, then you see only 4 cards for them. It's just the parallel cards. Okay. So now we're at the Pleiadian at present. So seeking present timeline, seeking karmic balance, devotion to service, refining galactic lineage. Can't pronounce the word. Sharing cultural ideals, still in Pleiadian's present timeline. And now we're moving to the Lyra civilization, future timeline. Self-observance, generosity, natural humility, complete surrender. Wow. See the progression of the soul evolution back to unity. Now we're on to the Vega civilization, future timeline. Honing beacon. See how as you progress the keywords, the number, you starting to heal your soul back and coming back to unity. Spiritual commitment, freedom, initiation, and ceremony. All right, so now we are looking at Earth future timeline. Melting pot, graduation, being the mentors, seeing the one. Wow, that reminds me of the Matrix. The one. Neil. All right, so now we're looking at this Zeta Reticuli present timeline. Renew hope, embracing family, learning to nurture, returning the favor, I'm looking through, okay, favor, returning the favor. Okay, so now we're back to parallel. Common ground, hybrid, cetacean dolphin, I can't pronounce that word. Forgiveness and gratitude. So they're in the parallel dimension. Living in the now. We're still on the dolphin. And now we're looking at back to the Pleiadians timeline, future timeline now. Equal value philosophy. Holographic healing. Wow, that sounds powerful. Holographic healing. Imagine that. Balanced relationships. Okay, so now we're becoming whole and going back towards unity. Balanced relationship. Open contact. Still in Pleiades future timeline. And now moving to cetacean whale. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that word. I know it means all the water animal. I can't pronounce the word. I guess I should have tried to look it up. All right, so the whale, shamanic journey. So they are in the parallel timeline or parallel dimension. There's no timeline. Dream time and awakening. And now we're looking at the Sirius civilization future timeline. Calling out parts home. And there's 108 cards in this deck, by the way. So there's a lot of cards. Assistance without interference. Mental transformation. Way showing. So the last card of the Sirius future timeline. Now we're looking at association of worlds, so no physical timeline, so parallel dimension here, community, enlightenment. So now we're looking at the Zeta Reticuli future timeline, enlightenment, paradox, mirror reflection, ultimate evolution, integrity. So we're looking at Sasani. So they're just parallel dimension, alchemy, spiritual sovereignty, leaving home. See, so the one that are parallel only have 4 because there's no past, present, and future. All right, 4 cards. So now we're looking at Orion's civilization future timeline, light of awareness, force of attraction, true compassion, emptiness. And that's the last card, 108. Here are the backs again. So as I said, it's kind of complicated. I hope that helps you understand a little bit about it better. So that if you're somewhat interested, you can look more into it. Let me zoom out a little bit while we look at the guidebook. So Galactic Heritage cards, and there's the table of contents, how the this card system was created, introduction to the Galactic card material from Germaine. Germaine is the being that she channeled to help her create these cards. The message she channeled, the person or entity she channeled for these cards, sample layouts and how to use them, some common questions, a note about the artwork after a reading, what's next, a final note from Lyssa, card meanings and commentaries. All right. And then she explains how she created it. So, and I did read most of this. That's how I knew to explain it. All right, so it's very interesting in the process. And then she goes into each civilization. You know, Pleiade, Arcturus, Vega, Lyra. All right, so if you're interested, it's all in here, the explanation. And then there's a few spreads you can use that they recommend that you can use to do readings on. And then common questions, a note about the artwork, and then we go into the cards. So there's a black and white picture of the cards. And then it describes, and then there's the commentary section. So each card, there's the description, commentary. Alright. So like I said, this deck is not for everyone. So, and then a little bit about the author and the illustrator and their pictures. How many pages? 150. But since there wasn't too many online, and for those people who may be interested in this, I thought I'll go ahead and do a walkthrough for those people that are interested in their galactic origin. So I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. Thanks for watching. Love and light to everyone. Happy New Year, and I will catch you again in the next video in 2022. Bye.